Today we are diving into a skill that can, no joke, change every single part of your life. We're talking career, relationships, the whole shebang. We're going to break down the core ideas from the book, Read People Like a Book.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation and just wished, for a second, you could see what was really going on in their head? To get past the surface level stuff and understand what they truly feel? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
Because, and this is the best part, what we're talking about isn't some superpower you have to be born with. Nope, it's an art, it's a science, and most importantly, it's a skill. That means you, me, anyone can learn it, practice it, and get really, really good at it.
So why is this skill so incredibly important? It's pretty simple, really. We're social animals. At the end of the day, our success, our happiness, it all comes down to our relationships. But let's be honest, people can be complicated, right?
And here's the fundamental problem we all face. There's often this huge gap between what someone says, what's actually going on in their mind, and then what they end up doing. It's this mismatch that causes so much confusion and disappointment. Learning to read people is all about closing that gap.
So how do we do it? Well, to build that bridge, you need a blueprint. And the book lays out this fantastic, easy-to-understand framework. It's all built on what it calls the 3 pillars of communication. Just think of them as the 3 channels you have to tune into to get the full picture.
First up, you've got the body, all the nonverbal stuff. Then you've got the words, what they're actually saying. And finally, the voice. You know, the tone, the speed, the volume that gives those words their real meaning. Now, the secret sauce isn't just looking at one of these. It's seeing how they all work together, or even more telling, when they contradict each other.
All right, let's start with the channel that is often the most honest of the 3, body language. You see, our bodies have this funny habit of telling the truth, often before our brain can even come up with a good story.
Okay, let's take a classic example, the smile. A fake smile or a polite one is really just a mouth thing. But a real, genuine smile, that's a full-face commitment. It travels all the way up, crinkling the corners of the eyes, the crow's feet, and it makes the eyes light up. Once you see the difference, you can't unsee it. Now, going a little deeper, we have these things called micro-expressions. Think of them as little flashes of truth. They're these super fast, totally involuntary facial expressions that leak out when someone's trying to hide how they really feel. They are incredibly powerful clues.
And when I say fast, I mean wow. A micro-expression can flash across someone's face and be gone in as little as 1/10 of a second. Seriously, blink and you miss it. This is exactly why paying close attention is the name of the game.
And of course, our posture is basically shouting a message. Someone with an open posture, standing tall, shoulders back, arms uncrossed, is sending signals of confidence and receptiveness. But what about a closed posture? Slumped over, arms crossed, that's a classic sign of defensiveness, feeling insecure, or just being closed off to what's happening. You know that old saying, the eyes are the windows to the soul? Well, it's kind of true. They give away so much. If someone's pupils get bigger, it could mean they're really interested in what you're saying. If their blink rate suddenly speeds up, that can be a huge tell for stress. And we all know the classic, avoiding eye contact is often a dead giveaway that someone's uncomfortable or hiding something. Okay, so we've covered the body. Let's move on to the other 2 pillars, the words people pick and the voice they use to say them. This is all about learning to listen not just to what they're saying, but how they're saying it. The actual words people choose are a gold mine of information. For instance, pay attention to pronouns. It's fascinating. People who are lying often try to distance themselves from the lie, so they use the word I less. And all those filler words like and like, they can signal that someone's unsure or nervous. Even the structure of their story matters. A true memory is usually full of details, while a made-up one tends to be pretty vague and all over the place. And then there's the voice itself, which can totally flip the meaning of the words. Just think about the phrase, "That's great." Say with a high pitch and quickly, and it's pure excitement, but say it slowly with a low pitch, and suddenly it's dripping with sarcasm. The pitch, the pace, the volume, they reveal the true emotion behind the words. So we've got the body, the words, and the voice. But here's the deal. Looking at any one of these things by itself can be super misleading. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important rule of reading people.
You absolutely have to remember this. Let's say someone touches their nose when they're talking to you. Does that automatically mean they're lying? No way! They might just have an itch. A single gesture on its own is just a piece of data. It's not the full story.
Real understanding comes when you start looking for clusters. A cluster is just a group of different signals, body, words, voice that are all pointing in the same direction. It's like being a detective. One clue is interesting, but 3 clues that tell the same story, now you're onto something.
Here's a perfect example. Imagine someone is avoiding eye contact, and they've crossed their arms, and their voice has gotten really quiet, and they're giving you super short answers. See? Any one of those things might not mean much, but all of them together? That's a powerful cluster that screams discomfort or defensiveness. And of course, context is king. You always have to consider the situation they're in.
So you've got this blueprint, you know what to look for, now what? What do you actually do with this skill? Well, this is way more than just a cool party trick. It's a tool that can genuinely improve every part of your life.
At work, you can crush an interview or read the room during a big negotiation. In your relationships, this is a total game changer. You can finally understand what your partner needs, even when they say everything's fine. It allows you to connect with people on a whole other level.
But we have to talk about this because it's really important. This knowledge is a kind of power, and with that comes a huge responsibility. The point of all this is never, ever to manipulate someone. The goal is empathy. It's about understanding people better so you can build real, authentic connections.
And that leads us to the final and maybe the most profound idea of all. As you get better at noticing all these signals in other people, something amazing happens. You start to get way more aware of your own signals too. Because at the end of the day, the foundation for understanding anyone else is taking the time to truly understand yourself first.